All right, so we've made it back here to Florida from the Harris Bridge Mid-East race, and got Brandon standing here. Going to get a short recap video of our weekend and our week. And we stayed a week in Stone Mountain, or me and my wife did. And Brandon got on the airplane. He come back, right, Brandon?
Yep.
You come back Saturday night and then worked for 3 days, and then you and your girlfriend Kyla went back up to Georgia, just north of where we were staying at, and stayed a couple days. And then we all came back on Saturday. So we got back here, and you can see the quads are here. This is the quad that Brandon raced at Mid-East and had been racing at Mid-East. Santo DeRisi and James Reeves at DeRisi Racing has had this quad and been taking care of it. This is the national quad here that Brandon has been racing in GNCC in 2022, which he earned a number 2 plate. This is the one that will probably end up running a little bit this next season, Brandon. So Brandon's been out here working on golf carts. I've been lapping valves and got to rebuild an FE 350 golf cart motor for a guy. But so listen, I was just wanting to catch a recap because we didn't get a recap the other day because we were in such a hurry and things escalated pretty quick. So you want to tell the folks about your race and how it went, and had a pretty good trip and a little chilly Saturday morning, and was able to watch the youth race. And then you started laying down some good laps. I mean, there was 3 guys in front of you that was just a tick better, and but your lap times were very, very consistent throughout the 2 hours and whatever you guys ran. But I think within 15 seconds of one another, so yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, I've been feeling really good on the Renegades. I mean, every race I've raced, I felt like I could really compete with whoever I'm racing against, and just been feeling really comfortable on both bikes. Yeah, both these fools are sitting here, and had a good race. I started out 4th or 5th, worked my way up to 4th on the first lap, and I mean, dang near rode there for
the whole race.
3/4 of the race. Yeah. And me and this other guy were putting down a really good, I felt like a really good pace. I was keeping up with him, and he was keeping up with me. And I got around him actually on a pit stop. He had a pit. I was racing against a 450. And got around him and really just put my head down like I was doing the whole race. Didn't make a mistake. I mean, just felt comfortable, felt in control every corner, and pretty much came into 3rd. I believe I think we're like a minute and a half or so behind Cameron Abey, which is a really, really good rider. And I believe about 2.5 minutes behind Dylan Walraven, which is a phenomenal XC2 rider. And so both them guys were running 1st and 2nd. They were out there a little bit, and felt like we put down a good pace. I think we ran 5 laps, right around 2 hours. So, I mean, overall, a good race.
Yeah, and that fellow that behind you, so you was running in 4th for a while. You was glued to that guy's rear bumper. He had to stop. Fortunately for us, we didn't stop and come real close, but. Yeah. And then that guy had a short pit stop. I mean, 10-second pit stop. Yep. And boy, he got right back on your bumper, and he stayed within 10 or 15 seconds behind you the remainder of the race, yep, which was how you was doing earlier in the race. So you guys were definitely the same lap times. But
yeah.
Anyway,
that last lap, I think it's probably, I'd say probably about 2 miles to go, 3 miles to go, and I didn't even have any gas bars on the Can-Am, and the fuel light was on. So that last 2 to 3 miles, I was very, very easy with the throttle. Very easy. Right. So not full throttle down straightaways, not full throttle out of corners. I mean, half throttle, 3/4. I mean, I knew he was back there, and I just had to stay in front of him. And as long as I did that, and that's when it ended up happening. So we have figured out the Renegade will run about 2 hours and 3 minutes or something like that, okay? Yep. Depends on the track and all that kind of stuff. So the other day, we had figured early on that it was going to be a 5-lap race, but heaven's sake, seemed like it, but it was definitely a 5-lap race, and that put us right on our breaking point. And the bike actually sputtered a little bit on you, and so you had to take it easy there for a little bit. So anyway, I was going to, so you had a good race, and so I'll get to where I'm at so we don't make this video very long. I didn't want to make it very long. So it's kind of weird how it all happened. So a bunch of you guys know that I used to race Renegades, and had an accident back on March 20th in 2020.
and that took me out of racing basically. And I crashed the Renegade, had a part brake on it, and it smashed my head pretty good. So I was out for about 4.5 months. But anyway, not raced much since, and certainly not ATV related. And raced my race car a little bit, and got some sinus problems and some eye problems and that kind of stuff. But anyway, so I'm getting all the Renegades ready because we had to have this guy back at the airport. It seemed like it was 8 o'clock at night or something like that. So we were going to be pressed for time. It's time we eat dinner and everything. So I get the 2 Renegades loaded up and everything buttoned up, and we're ready to shag out. We was going to go to Chad Lindsay's house to drop off the motorhome and then go from there in Adam Voigt's excursion or expedition, whatever the heck that thing is. And then we was going to drive up to the airport to take Brandon. So anyway, I got everything buttoned up, and I walked over there, Chad Lindsay and John Berg and Terry Hancock. They were all sitting around talking, and all of a sudden they just yelled out my name, like, Chuck. And I'm like, okay. So we're trying to figure out what the heck was going on, or I was, and all of a sudden I guess they were talking about this RS1 that was in the trailer going back to Iowa, and they was trying to get each other to race it. And so I happened to walk up, and they're like, he's the guy. So I walk up in on a Storm, and I'm like, yeah, I'll race it, but let me go talk to my beautiful wife, because I know what happened almost a couple years ago, and I had to get it approved by her. So I go running back to the motorhome, and she's sitting in the motorhome. Brandon's getting changed because he's getting ready to go to the airport in the motorhome. And I walk up the steps, and I look at Brandon, and I said, Brandon, you're not going to believe this, but John Bergs has just asked me to drive his RS1 in the UTV race. That's getting ready to get started, what, 12 minutes? Something like that? 15?
It was maybe 20.
So he says, no. And I said, yes, he just asked me. So I'm like, honestly, the crazy thing was we passed one coming up. Yes. Going up to the races.
The Mid-East race, and he said, we talked about racing one.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy how it ended up.
Yeah.
You ended up racing one the very next day.
Right. Yeah, on the way up, I'm like, Brandon, I want to buy one of those. That's got a roll cage on it. Mom will let me drive that. So anyway, I walk up in the motorhome, tell mom, which is my wife, and she's like, what? I was all excited. I actually went over there to get money and ask her because I had to go get signed up. So I told Brandon, I said, John Berg's going to let me drive that RS1. It had like 15 minutes on it. It's brand new. This thing's brand new. And Brandon's like, no. And I said, yeah. I said, open the window. And he pulled up the shades on the motorhome, opened the window, and they're unloading the darn thing. And Brandon's eyes got about this big around. So he hurried up and shimmied out of his pants and got in some blue jeans so he could come up and help. And so I grabbed some money, and I took off to the sign-up line at Mid-East, which is pretty cool. They let you sign up, 30 seconds before it starts, so really cool. So I get up to the line, or to the sign-up window, and I'm like, I'm filling out I don't have my AMA card with me. I'm like, oh my goodness. So luckily, 2 really wonderful ladies was able to find my AMA number, put my AMA number on the registration, and she goes, what number are you? I'm like, 784. And she's like, okay. And I got to thinking about it a minute, about 20 seconds. So I'm like, wait a minute. I said, oh, hang on a minute, sweetheart. I need to go back and see what number's on the buggy. She goes, oh, don't worry about it. Turns out there wasn't no number on the buggy, right? Yep. So anyway, so she handed me the 784, which is pretty cool because that's Brandon's number. And so I go shimmying back, and some of you guys watched the video, so you already see this. But I go shimmying back, and I'm on the way back over there, and I cannot believe this is all happening. So I get back over there, and of course they're got the buggy out, air the tires up, getting everything ready to go, getting gas and all in it. And I climb in this thing, and I got to have a helmet, I got to have gloves, so Mr. Brandon lets me borrow everything, right, Brandon? So Brandon lets me borrow everything, and so I put everything on, and then I'm like, oh my goodness, how the hell do you start this thing? I didn't know how to drive it. And so luckily Jordan Berg, which is John Berg's, which owns the cart, his son comes over and helps me, and you guys probably saw the video. So listen, it's just amazing the way all that happened, and all that happened within, like Brandon said, 20 minutes or less. It was freaky the way that happened, and really, really crazy. And I also want to thank John Berg and his son Jordan, and for letting me do that, because that was a deal of a lifetime for me, and really, really appreciate that, and had a great time. That was fun. Okay, I'm not going to buy one. I know I said in the video, I said I'm buying one. Of course, you know I'm all fired up and excited. Listen, we got plenty of stuff to do with these Renegades with Brandon, and my responsibility is there. So not going to buy one, but I'll certainly take up the wheel if somebody offers me to drive one. Ended up fourth in class, fifth overall, was running second at some point, and didn't want to tear this guy's buggy up, you know, and boy, I tell you, those boys are aggressive. Got the whole shot, and John Berg told me, he said, this thing will get the whole shot, and it did. And boy, I had car run right over top of me. I went to make the right-hand turn, and boy. So anyway, listen, these guys are more serious about it than I am, and certainly I'm not in my own car, so I had to be real careful about what I did. So didn't tear his car up, and had a great time, and got Brandon to the airport. Brandon made it back to Florida, so that all worked out good. And now it's time to we're going to focus on this stuff here. Thanksgiving's out of the way, and we got a little bit of work to do. We're going to get some work done at the kart shop.
Yeah, should be on the Can-Ams are back, so should be practicing, doing a little bit of training on the Renegades, a little bit more work on them. But I think we're probably going to be racing the Renegades for a little bit.
So we got enough TR race, what, a couple weeks?
Yep.
Week and a half. So we got that was the last Mid-East race.
Yep.
We do have a Florida Trail Riders race on, seems like it's the 10th or 12th or something like that. The same day the banquet is, or the day after the banquet. So Brandon's going to, so Brandon's going to try to go to the banquet on Friday night and then try to fly back and then do the FTR race on Saturday, provided all that works out. So, but probably be on one of the Renegades.
Yeah, it'll be the last race of the season for any racing, so.
Yeah.
Should be it.
Yeah, so and then, but we got tons of work to do. We still got the 850 here, the 850. Not sure where I left you guys off at, but I'll explain to you some of the stuff that I got done on that. Brandon has been busy doing some other stuff on YFZ. He's got a ride planned on Wednesday night this week with the youth riders. So I may or may not go out there and get some video of that. Depends on what's going on at the kart shop. But other than that, we got the Renegades back, the 1000. That's a 1000 here, and then we got the 850 here. So.
So we more than
all of the ATVs are back here, and we certainly appreciate those guys taking care of everything. And listen, those guys do a wonderful job. This ATV with James and Santo DeRisi has prepped this thing wonderfully, and of course we finished all the races, and that's really, really important. But I want to thank those guys again because it's very, very important. I also want to thank B&R Motorsports. We did get a power steering unit, and it's laying over here in the box. And these things are like a unicorn. They're hard to find. So we will be replacing this power steering unit on this thing here. I was going to tell you, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I did is we have not got the head pipe from HMF. So what I did is I did weld that thing myself. And no, I'm not going to show it to you, but I welded it and it's going to hold. I'm not a good welder, but I will tell you that it'll stay together. Also got the upper motor mount there. So this bike, the only thing that it needs is that power steering unit. And I will tell you, we're sort of delaying a little bit because I got some exciting things coming up. We're waiting on some parts to come in from a very special guy and from a new company with some steering components and all that. And I'm hoping to get that in before we decide to tackle that thing. And then we also got another supporter that jumped on board with us this year, and I've already got all his stuff laying over there on the floor, and I do not want to show it to you until I get ready to start mounting it and all that. But really, we got some really wonderful people. Talked to 725 Designs today, or the other day, Todd, and he's going to get some sticker decal kits and some other stuff, and very excited about that and working with him this season and all that. So the other thing is going to try to get another GoPro or two, and I want to try to mount a GoPro on the rear of these things and try to do a little bit better with the editing and that kind of stuff, you know what I mean, and try to get you guys some more footage. So anyway, all right, I told the viewers, Brandon, that it's going to be a short video, but I don't know how long we've been going because my screen's out, but I guarantee it's a while.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So and the whole tire story, that's a whole nother story. You know what I mean? So we swapped out some tires up there. And if you guys watched the video, you've already seen some of the stuff. But pretty interesting and good crowd of people. So
we still have a lot to do.
Yeah, so we still have a lot to do. We still have not purchased a brand new Renegade yet, Brandon, for the 2023 season. We're not really sweating it too bad. We could still race this one here if we needed to, but we'd like to.
This bike here is really fresh. I've raced it, I don't know, I probably have my own hours, 10 hours on it. The whole bike probably has no more than 30.
Yeah, so, and it's in really good shape, obviously.
It's in really good shape.
Yeah. So
would like a new one, for sure.
And that's the direction we're going. We just got to get some details figured out.
Because we know when you get the hours on them, you just got to pay attention to a lot of things. And like this one here, we had some unfortunate breaks, but it's lasted us all season. But at the beginning of the season, every single part that we put on it was brand new. So we knew what we were working with. So obviously a new bike, we know what we're working with on that as well.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think we've ever we've never had a brand new Renegade that we've torn down and totally redone ourselves. So we're certainly interested in doing that. So hopefully we can get something done here in the next few weeks and get us a bike down here so we can get started on it. So all right, guys, as always, I appreciate you guys watching, and it's very interesting. I got tons of more stories, and I'll go in some more of those details. We had a great time, our trip up to South Carolina and then the Stone Mountain on the way back on Thanksgiving. So I'll go in some more of the stories later. Just want to do a short video. We're all back here tonight's Monday night, and it's already gotten dark. We worked all day at the cart shop. Obviously, you can see we got carts lined up here, so it's busy, okay? And we want to get started on some of this Renegade stuff, so get our race program ready. But next race will be the 10th of December. Florida Trail Riders, not this Saturday, next Saturday. So, but I'm going to try to get some videos, some footage of them riding and that kind of stuff in between now and then. And then certainly we're going to be in the shop working, so try to get some of that. So keep you guys caught up. As always, appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.